Since everybody's telling stories, I'm gonna tell a story, a real story, okay? Now, I live in Richmond, Virginia, right? And in the year 2012, I was hanging out with my boy Jordan. My homie Jordan actually lived in the downtown area of my city, so he just so happened to be by an Irish pub that was popping. It was like a club too at night. All of these nice, basically the gentrified area. Well, what a gentrified area would typically have, or just a suburban area, or whatever. You know what I mean? So back during that time, we used to take ecstasy, Molly, because Molly had just come out. Really, we really just getting put onto the exotic weed because in 2011, that's when we started smoking exotic weed. That's when all the flavors came in. We only had access to the BC bud and just regular mids. You had to be really plugged in to have that exotic stuff, and we didn't have access to it. So, that was the norm. Everybody that we was, I mean, it was just we were in the mid world. I mean, that's how it was. Then 2011 came, and we're getting pineapple this, we're getting this, and that, and I'm like, wow, the weed. I mean, back then I used to collect different kinds of purple weed. I mean, dude was like, I got raspberry perp, I got vanilla perp. It just seemed like, whoa, where are these flavors coming from, man? And that was in 2011. I distinctly remember that because I was smoking BC Bud mids, and as the exotic weed was coming in, but it wasn't that frequent yet. So people were still smoking mid and BC Bud until it became permanent, you know? So that's the scene when it comes to the bud. I'm selling bud, you know what I mean? 2012, everybody's used to the exotic. They want the exotic. So we're hanging out, we're chilling, we're going to clubs and it's cool because we can walk everywhere we go because he lives right in the mix of everything, so we can just walk. But one night, his UFC buddy, Latino dude, I forgot his name, man. It was two of them. It was him, the fighter, and it was his homeboy who was just his homeboy. And they were Latino guys. I think they were either Puerto Rican or Dominican, but one was a UFC fighter. And next door to this apartment that I'm talking about, my homeboy Jordan's apartment, there was a nightclub called, there was a venue called Toad's Place. And I think it changed its name to something else after that. It became a different place, but it was like a restaurant, entertainment place, right? And they used to host UFC fights on certain month, like a certain amount of weeks. And I went to this Latino dude. He had a fight, and my boy Jordan knows him. That's his friend. So I met. He was like, "Yo, next door, literally next door to the apartment, next door, the next building, there was the venue, the music venue, and the club and restaurant, and they actually were hosting a UFC night, and they had built an octagon cage in there. And I was drunk. I was off. I don't know. We were just messed up, and we were in there, and I met dude. He was fighting. He was bleeding. He was making them bleed. He was a very aggressive dude, man. And one thing about it is he was very aggressive. I think that he was attracted to the UFC because he just loved to fight. I think he was just that kind of dude. And I met his homie, and mind you, his homie is not a fighter. He's just his homie, but they're both Latino homies. And my homie Jordan's black, and these are his homies. I don't know how they know each other. We all just linked up, because we went to his fight, which was next door to the apartment. Now, he comes one, it's a ritual, it's traditional, it's normal for us to go out every single night, because all we have to do is walk places. So basically, what happens is the Latino dudes hook up with us one night, and we're taking X pills. And I remember it was an eraser head because I had a tough night off of it because I had drank a lot of liquor. I took the whole eraser head pill, and I just felt so uncomfortable that night. I was just literally sitting down in the corner. And I was like, man, I hope I throw up. I honestly I thought I made a mistake and took too much and felt like I was gonna get hurt, or have to go to the hospital. But thankfully, I threw up, but I just, man, I felt off. But after I threw up, I got kind of good, because I was messed up. I mean, we was drinking liquor, and I should have took a little bit of the pill. I took the whole pill because I really wasn't taking ecstasy on a daily basis, weekly basis. It was just a spur of the moment type thing. My homeboy had it, and we got it. But my boy Jordan, he got ADD, so the X pill didn't really. He was good. I mean, he was talking about taking another one. I was nearly about to die. But that's one of the, well, yeah, that's 2011, man. That's when the mid was still in effect. I don't know why I showed that, but yeah, man. So we're on foot. We don't have to drive to the clubs because we're on foot. We're right next door. The apartment is right next door to all the nightclubs and stuff. Or we can walk 10, 15 minutes and go to another part of downtown. The point is, we're downtown. We can walk, and that's cool and fun. right? So homie, Latino homie, the whole time we're walking and cutting through the city, just chilling, drunk on ecstasy, he's aggressive and he's beating up like the public city trash cans, the dumps. He's taking the top off and just throwing them. He's busting out car windows. And so we're in the man. It was just like this dude had something going on, and I think he reminds me of so many people that I know who drink and they get so aggressive they're not even their real selves no more, and everybody's like xed out, so nobody's paying attention to it, you know. Because I was a novice at X, so I'm feeling crazy, and like I told you, I'm feeling kind of crazy, you know. But dude, he was so aggressive, man. Like he was like, "Who wants to fuck with me tonight?" And everybody we walked past, he would say something aggressive to him. And I was like, yo, did he take the ecstasy too? And it was like, and his homie was like, the other Latino homie who's not a fighter was like, yo, no, he just drank. He always get like this when he drink, man. And I'm like, yo, I just had a sense that something bad was going to happen, but I'm too preoccupied. I took the X. I'm feeling weird, you know, like breathing funny, like, you know, I'm really geeked out, but I'm not used to it. So we make it into the club, right? And I actually had to diffuse this. I hope I diffused the situation. I can't even speak on it because I just seen a Latino dude and this black dude with all these tattoos on his face coming together. And the black dude, I think he was a blood because everybody had red on. And you know, my city don't really gangbang like that, but there are a little, you know, I mean, well, that's how it is. Everybody gangbangs, but I just don't identify that with my city. But that's what it is. This dude was probably a blood. And I said, homie, don't worry about him. I'm like, yo, he a UFC fighter, bro. You don't want to fight him, man. He drunk, you know what I mean? He like, nah, homie. And he was about to like, I got a feeling somebody would have died that night because the whole time we were in there, man, and we in a ghetto hood club. So, you know, dudes is just gritting and, you know, standing in corners. You got some dudes that are buck and excited and they running around throwing their hoods. And I'm like, man, I'm off the X. I'm just sitting down in the corner by the bathroom like, fuck, man, I hope I throw up. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm X'd out, feeling crazy. So eventually I throw up. And then when I finish throwing up, I'm like, yo, now everything feels better. My breathing feels more normal. I feel I'm good. You know, I'm feeling good. I think I had threw up some of the X and that kind of brought down the craziness. So I'm just looking at dude, Latino UFC fighter dude, and he's just in the club, crazy, aggressive. I mean, it's like I don't really know him, so I can't really tell you how he acts normally. But when I met him at the UFC fight, he was cool. And then before he got drunk that night, because like I said, I seen him at his fight that he was fighting in, and I met him after that. And then months later, he came out with us to go out. He hung out with us, got drunk. Like I said, he's my home boy. And this is Jordan right here, actually. And that's the apartment hallway. That's the night we were about to go out. You know what I mean? I think that was we were going out toward this new club they had, man, and we had to dress up. But we're all off. We're off Molly, you know, an X. And like I said, my boy will. I mean, it's nothing that we did on a daily basis or anything like that. It was just my boy would bring it out on special nights. So I would say maybe like 2 times a year. It was something that was annual, basically. You know, it was like something really. So that way it stuck out. You know, so yeah, man. It was crazy, man, back in those days, man. And that's like I said, man. I just told you. I said, look, man, that's the homie. The homie got some issues. He a UFC fighter, so I'm basically letting him know, like the homie, you know, he might not be right upstairs. And I never knew what happened to that guy. You know, I just knew that this dude was big, diesel, muscular. He could beat the hell out of anybody. And I just knew that when he was just like he didn't care, man. He had this Tupac type attitude where he didn't care if he lived or died, and he was like a. And I felt like we had a lethal weapon with us. I'm like, man, being with this guy, I'm gonna get killed tonight because this dude is gonna get us into a conflict because he wants a conflict, and he's like a tank because he knows how to fight and he's diesel, he's muscular and all that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a rough night, man. Like I said, I never seen him again after that. I seen Jordan after that, of course. I continued my routine with him. You know, like this night right here, man. That's off X, man. When you look in the eyes, my homie's drunk. I'm off X. No, actually Molly. The Molly. Yeah, man. So we had fun doing those days, man. Like I said, man, but the homie was going so crazy that night. I can vividly see him walking down the street just busting out. I mean, he was busting car windows out with punches. So yeah, he had blood on his hands. you know, and it was just like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm talking to his homie, the other Latino dude. I'm like, dog, what the fuck, man? And he like, dog, he always get like this. And I'm like, God damn, dog. I'm like, we're gonna get into somebody gonna come at us because this dude. And Jordan, he's off the X. So he's talking to girls and like I said, I'm feeling crazy. So yeah, man, I never knew what happened to him, man, but he seemed like a dude that would get himself into trouble, man. I mean, like I said, I went up to the guy with the tats on his face and tried to defuse the situation because I was like, yo, they're gonna probably find us, like, cause we're walking, so they could catch us on any street walking back, and I'm like, yo, I gotta think for all of us, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, that was crazy. Peace.